Hi, and welcome to a discussion on generations in the workplace. My name is Locke Hilderbrand. I'm the Chief Insights Officer of CultureWaves. I'm also a fossil millennial.
And I'm Kay Logsdon. I am Director of Applications for CultureWaves, and I am a solid baby boomer working with a lot of different generations.
So generations are kind of an interesting topic because some people think that generations are this rolling segment that new people move in and out of on an ongoing basis. Others have it predefined as a concept that there is an age group. It's kind of a stereotype, but there's a lot of truth to them, and they don't change. They just grow up and age out, and a new one comes in behind them.
It's kind of funny because we have so many clients that think that millennials will at some point roll into being Gen Xers. Or Gen Xers will roll into being baby boomers, or baby boomers will roll into being seniors, and it doesn't work that way. For one thing, boomers will never allow you to call them seniors. So those, as they age, they stay millennials, they just get older.
Yeah, and getting older is one of the things that's been a very heated topic of discussion, especially around the workplace. Because I look at my start of the workplace, I got into the job market out of college as the recession hit, and we got to watch everything fall apart. Especially here, in the advertising and marketing industry, the entire world changed whenever it all went digital.
And we've been a part of that whole world changing. But I feel, again, as a boomer, I've been a part of a lot of change in the workplace over the years. I mean, this will definitely date me, but I remember when we worked without an internet, and Locke's generation can't fathom anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on the Wild West of the internet. My teen years were spent in sort of like the weird quasi-world of building GeoCities websites and using the first instant messengers. Granted, I am on the very, very old end of millennials, but just seeing how all of that has changed and evolved has been crazy because we've spent our entire industry here at CultureWaves looking at how human behavior evolves and looking at how generations change and generational shifts and connecting the dots for clients. And to just kind of look back and think about how all of that's changed, even in our world over the past 10 to 15 years, has been crazy to look at.
Yeah, things like mentorship didn't exist when I started out in the workplace. For me, a lot of that was because there weren't a lot of women in the workplace prior to me, and so there was nobody to really look to that worked the way I did. For the millennials that are in the workplace right now, they're not really looking for a mentor. Sometimes they find them inadvertently or whatever, but they are so sure of that they know everything that mentorship doesn't enter their mind.
Well, and hang on,
feel free to correct me.
Let's be fair here. There is a mentality that I think, especially with older millennials, like we kind of got the short end of the stick because we came out of high school not being prepped for any level of tech in the workplace. And then everything rolled over into technology halfway through college, and you couldn't magically backtrack and start over.
Notice how millennials shift the blame. So now it's the school system's fault.
It's totally the school system.
They're
also why I'm in debt. But there is this notion of who's the leader that leads me whenever we're put into a position of leadership, and it's sort of like, okay, here you go. And you look at things like the rise of entrepreneurship and the rise of more people becoming self-employed alongside of that, and it's sort of like you've got two opportunities here. You can either go into a corporate environment that's kind of in a chaotic tumble of people are trying to figure out, oh, what do we do whenever baby boomers leave, if they ever do leave? Or, do I just go off on my own and create my own job in my own field around my rules?
And that's really a lot of what it comes down to right now, because those younger generations don't want to play by the same business rules that we've played by for so many years. And so that really creates a tension among those that, we have seniors in our workplace, and we have Gen Z in our workplace. So we've got that wide shift all the way across. And the Gen Zs, I think, sometimes come to work with their mouth hanging open going, "You're doing what? And I have to be here at what time?" And you actually have a deadline for a report. So those are not things that come naturally. Those are things that need to be learned. And what we think people have to learn in the workplace is undergoing a massive shift right now.
And it's everything from little things that you wouldn't even necessarily think of, like I'm sitting, a foot away from you, and I might not...
You need me to move?
No, but I might not want to actually talk to you, and instead I'm going to talk to you on a chatbot. Things like that, like how do we communicate? How
yeah,
do you
literally.
orchestrate going from online to offline life? And that's one of the biggest things that we've even seen trying to hire is people that are excelling at online life and online mobility and online communication, and then they get into a real world scenario and it's like a complete train wreck and it falls apart.
Well, and for a while it was like the older generations felt they needed to keep up, so they needed to learn all those technologies. So sure, I've tried Snapchat, I tried Slack, I tried some of those means that you communicate with on a regular basis, and I thought this is stupid. So that's my choice. And at some point you have to recognize then, all right, what are the workplace standards going to be? So while we know that the Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z in our workplace use Slack for communication, that is not an approved method of communication in the workplace. So none of our official records are kept that way. No assignments can come through that
There's
way.
no paper trail.
You can't ask for time off that way, anything like that. So those are things that have to be discussed. So that's what this show is going to be about, more about talking to you about how the generations react in the workplace, what the challenges are when you're working across multi-generations in one place, and how you can find solutions.
Solution being the operative word, because someone's got to be right at the end of the day.
And it's usually the baby boomer.
Keep telling yourself that.